Think about the voices here in the community, reaching out for hope, looking for the opportunity. Living through this life, trying to make the best for you and me. 122.
Yeah, mental health is, it actually affects me. I battle anxiety, I battle depression. You know,
All right, Chris, we had an agenda.
Okay, let's get
let's go with agenda first. And then, come on, Chris, that's what I have it here. All right. So it's been a while since we've done an episode, but we're back. This year we want to obviously do more, and release more episodes because there's so many things that are going on. Last year we were busy as hell. But what did we do last weekend, Chris? Did we walk 22 miles or did we not walk 22 miles?
Holy cow. Well, I actually walked a little bit more because I lost my car, but we did. We walked 22 miles.
Why did we walk 22 miles?
Over 22 veterans commit suicide every single day. And, those are the people that risk their lives for our country. And we wanted to bring awareness to suicide and also mental health.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we planned that literally within 2 weeks of doing the walk. I was like, hey, Chris, I have a crazy idea. Let's just walk 22 miles on New Year's Eve. And of course, Chris is all like, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
And I can always depend on Chris to be down. Yeah. So what did we do? We just called a few more people up and we had friends join us. There was a few of us. There was about 8 of us. And then we had a safety vehicle, which was my truck with a porter potty and stuff. But yeah, no, it was to bring awareness to the 22 veterans.
And I brought Clementine.
And you brought Clem.
My new dog.
And I brought Angus.
Yeah.
Not so new dog, but they're awesome. Mm-hmm. Clementine took a shit in Coronado. That was awesome. I love it.
Well, I tried to pick it up, but it was too dark. I couldn't see it. So and then she almost ran in the street. So
yeah. So what? That was a sign from God. Fuck it. It'll take care of itself.
Yeah.
Or the poor city workers will take care of it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we walked to bring awareness to mental health. We have it up there. We have printed a little sheet. And it's really, the walk was for the 22 veterans that commit suicide every day. And that was just been a count that they started doing since Vietnam. So that's because they realized like, oh shit, suicide is an issue.
It is, and it's been underreported. One of the things I did was I cut up I videotaped it, cut it up, but there's veterans, a radio show said, hey, it could be even closer to, 44. So there's some underreporting going on. But the point is just to bring awareness to mental health. And I think mental health has been the subject, especially Ellen DeGeneres show. What was his name who committed suicide?
Their DJ Twitch. I think he committed suicide last month.
Yeah, so people are kind of looking at things, and mental health. It doesn't just affect people who are lower class, middle class. It affects the rich.
The rich.
Too.
I mean, Twitch, DJ Twitch, millionaire, I'm sure, famous, 40 years old.
Yeah.
And what's going on? Like, I think suicide is such a weird topic because it's not supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. Because we have homeless people or people, in the slums. They have nothing in life. Nobody respects them, and they're still surviving. They'll do anything it takes to survive. They'll fucking panhandle. They'll do whatever it takes because that's the nature of animals, of us creatures. Mm-hmm. And so for someone to commit suicide, it goes against all of that. It goes against the idea of humanity and living at all costs. But so that's why it's so crazy. That's why it's so like a big thing that we don't. I guess we understand it, but maybe we don't talk about it enough.
There's, especially maybe 10, 20 years ago, as the stigma of, people with mental health, people kind of, hey, suck it up, we got to get this done, but people are being more open and they're saying, hey, I'm battling, for example, I battle alcoholism and, I'm always really open about it and just say, hey, this is what happened to me. I gave my life to the Lord. I haven't had a drink, going on, 14, 15 years. But, sometimes people want to hide things because they feel ashamed of for whatever reason. But that's the society. Society is changing. Society is saying, hey, mental health this is a real issue.
Yeah. And I think you can see it being reflected in the culture at this point. Like a lot of songs are about mental health, and
Mhm.
a lot of people are open about therapy now, as opposed to maybe 10 years ago. And like, I think it's a topic that it's worthwhile discussing because people have had enough, especially during these past few years with the pandemic. I think the pandemic definitely highlighted that issue because suicide skyrocketed in this country during the pandemic. And it makes sense. You take away somebody's, I don't know, the only thing they got is their job or something, and you send them home, and now they don't know what's going to happen the next day. They don't know if they're going to make it. They're all they watch is TV, and in the media, all it does is put fear in us, like scare us.
Mhm.
Coronavirus this person is that, fascism this, January 6th that. So you're always scared at all times, and no wonder we're like full of anxiety and depression in this country because of I do blame society and the culture, like the media, a lot because their job is to sell fear.
Mhm.
The more fear they sell, then the more likely we are to give up our liberties. For sure, I do believe that we're more likely to depend on the government for security. Look what's going on right now. A big topic is like freedom of speech and
Mhm.
with the whole Trump thing, the Twitter thing. Wherever you stand on that, I think it's all intertwined for sure.
Yeah, I think that especially COVID and the way people speak, people are just you got to be careful what you say now. People will, we have a filter. A filter is the filter that we have now wasn't here 10, 15 years ago. You know,
Now check out my Facebook 10 years ago, and then you'll see it was like I've been deleting things, but
I haven't deleted anything, so help yourself.
I'm sure we'll get fucking X'd and canceled real quick. But whatever the fuck, we're still here. We've survived for
Mhm.
this long. But yeah, that's why we did the walk
Mhm.
to bring awareness. Let's bring it back to the suicide and mental health.
Mhm.
It's important because without our mind, we're nothing. That's it. We're nothing. Like we're useless. If yeah, you're fit and yeah, you have a good job and you have a good family, but if your mind's not there, nothing means anything. Even you can get depressed when you have it all.
It's one of the worst things, you break your leg, you have a cast. I mean, there's, easy fixes, but with mental health, especially, when I had to get on medication, you have to want to get better and you have to cut things out of your life, alcohol, like I can't drink anymore. I can't even drink coffee. I have to drink, green tea, you know,
Shout
and
out green tea.
shit. Oh yeah, this is if you can't drink coffee anymore, try this stuff. This stuff has the same amount of coffee, but it doesn't get me all anxious and stuff. But I learned like health. Your mental health. It's also like what I've been putting in my body. I've been doing a lot of fasting. To stay focused and as you get older, when you're in your 20s, you go you go hard. You know,
Yeah.
when I used to drink, when I used to party and do all kinds of things. But as you get older, those things can have an impact on your mind
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I can't go out like I was 28, or 2025, because my body will let me know that I can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think even in your 20s, because kids are all depressed now.
Hmm.
So it's because maybe they're exposed to more things. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is or whatever. But I think we are exposed to a lot. We're exposed to social media. We know what everybody's doing at all times, which I think it could hurt us. It could hurt us mentally. It can. It's not. I don't think it's the best thing for a kid or for an adult. That's why we're all hooked on their phones. Look at me, I have a fucking phone right here,
Hmm.
and we're always on social media. We have 4 different social media platforms, and whatever we portray on those platforms, is it really us? Is it really what we're doing at the moment? I know I've seen pictures, and I'm pretty sure I'm guilty of this, of like happy couples on social media, but then
Hmm.
they break up the next month or something. So it's not. I think it's like putting a fake persona out there at all times, and you have to keep up with it. So I think that's all part of this. It's all part of the mental health thing that maybe we've lost touch. We've been losing touch of humanity, of what it really means to be
Yeah.
human and happy and maybe comfortable with what we have, not always wanting more.
You
is
brought
okay.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. The perfect family. It's easy to take pictures and say, but hey, I've been married. I'm going on. Yeah, you got the lights off.
It's okay. It's part of the show.
It's part of the
It's
show.
part of the show.
Well, anyway, like you make a good point. I have my wife and my three girls, and I love them very much. But I'm a flawed man. I make mistakes, and I have to work things out. You know my daughters, and it's a different world. But one of the great things about having three daughters who are kind of growing up, they kind of correct me in a way, like, Dad, you can't say that anymore. And because there's sensitivity there, and I think it's important to you know people are sensitive, and that's something you need to look at in individuals.
I think there's a couple things right there. I think if you want to change and you want to be a better person, you kind of have to accept all that criticism, or not criticism, but more like that advice that your daughters are giving you.
Hmm.
Hey, you can't say that anymore. But by you want to become a better person
Hmm.
and understand the world, you take it in and you're like, okay, cool. Well, I want to adapt. I want to be part of this family.
Hmm.
Uh, but I think most people are not like that. Most of us are like, fuck that. I'm gonna do whatever I want because we
Hmm.
have that ego.
Hmm.
The ego is what destroys, I think, people, because even though we're wrong, we know we're wrong. We'll still do it.
Yeah, you want to sit on the throne. You want to
Yeah.
be in control. You want to be able to do everything you can. But one of the things that I love doing is we have this filter, right, with society. But when I talk to my wife, I don't have a filter. I say whatever I want, pretty much. And it's great to kind of let down your guard and kind of open up and tell people about your feelings and stuff like that. And you know, when I'm at work, it's different. I have to, there's impact. When you're at work, so the filter is there. The filter's
Well,
out.
well, like Shakespeare said, like we wear different hats.
We wear different
We wear
hats.
different hats.
Or
So we're
Frederick
different. We're different characters.
or Frederick Nietzsche, when he said, "I am myself in I am myself in my environment." You know,
Yeah. So it depends where you're at.
where you
If
are.
you're a student, you wear that hat. When you're at home and you're a kid in the sun,
Hmm.
you wear that hat.
Hmm.
When you're a worker somewhere, you wear that hat.
Hmm.
But I think that's what it is. But in your case with your wife and stuff, I think it's because you have someone
Hmm.
to be able to open up to and listen to you, and you listen to each other.
Hmm.
Most people, or I'm not going to say most people, but I think a lot of people don't have someone they can open up to and really express and then bounce off ideas with.
Well, it's like that's why friends are really important. I
Yeah.
mean, you and I have known each other for a long time now,
Four
and
years.
4 years, and you always you keep track. I
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah, Chris doesn't know where he's at right
I
now. He has no idea where he's at right now. He'll be lost without
I
a
got
GPS.
lost.
He'll be lost.
After the walk, I did get lost.
You did get lost. You
I
couldn't
thought
find
my
your
car
car.
got towed.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus Christ. But that's hilarious. But yeah.
But,
Anyways, you
I
were
don't know what
saying.
I was saying.
I don't know. Exactly. You get lost. I keep track that we're friends. We've been friends for a while.
And no, and I can take down that filter, and I can talk to Juan about things, and as your friends, the filter is going to be there, as you kind of spread out, and it's like, but I like hanging out, and I can take down my filter with your family. I mean, we'll go to Big Bear, but that kind of like openness, and I think being able to kind of say things, and maybe you might say things that might be and you don't want to say it in mixed company, but it's nice to just open up and just be a guy or be a gal or whatever.
Yeah, I think part of that is having a community or support group or
Mhm.
close family and friends that you can trust. Because when you have no filter, you're trusting them that they won't put you on social media for saying whatever
Right.
kind of deal. But whatever, like we're all animals. I believe a lot of us are more nastier than what we say we claim to be. But I get it. We have to wear our hats at work and be professional and play the role, play the part,
Mhm.
and because society has to go on. But in reality, in our minds, we're a lot nastier. We're dirtier. We're
Mhm.
we're animals. We have urges. We have subconscious. So we do and think different things, and that has to be kept in check at all times. Like our ego has to be kept in check at all times. Otherwise, you just run wild. What do you think shit happens when you do drugs and alcohol? Like,
Yeah.
because it just lets it go. It's like fuck it, no filter, YOLO, and then that's when we get in trouble.
And
That's how it goes.
especially, we were talking about, philosophy and, I am myself in my environment. And, you're talking about Shakespeare, but they didn't have cameras. They didn't have social media. They didn't have, there's just, it's out there now. It
Yeah.
really is. There's
Forever.
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 And it's just going to get more and more, uh, you know, do your best and just realize, you know, it's really easy to look at the fault of people, but you also have to look at the totality of the person. A lot of
Yeah.
people want to do good, and especially if maybe you saw them do something wrong and you call them out. I go, but you ask yourself, did you ever tell that person what he's doing right and what you really appreciate? It's easy to tear down people. It really is, but no one's perfect.
Yeah. Now, trust me, I know.
I know.
I fucked up so many times, and maybe you don't get caught. Sometimes you get caught, sometimes you don't.
Mm.
But speaking of that, and on the way here, I was talking to you about that podcast I've been listening to. I just started listening to with John Bernthal, the actor from The Walking Dead. It's called The Real Ones, and he interviewed Shia LaBeouf. And I told you about Shia LaBeouf.
Walking Dead, in case you don't know.
Wait, what?
Walking Dead? Is he in The Walking Dead?
Not Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Oh,
John is. Okay,
That's
John.
right. Walking
Shia
Dead.
LaBeouf is an actor. He's been an actor his whole life,
Right.
and he's a little brat. And he got in trouble. He hit a girl or something, domestic violence, let's say, right? And then society dropped him. Hollywood dropped him. His friends and family dropped him. But John Bernthal brought him onto his podcast not too long ago, and just to talk about it, just to talk to him because they're friends. So people told John, like, don't do that. What are you doing? Like, that's gonna be your demise. Like, no, he's canceled. But he said, I don't give a fuck. I need to talk to him. And then during the podcast, when they're talking, they are talking that like no one is there for that person. Like we still need to fix that person. We still need to fix Shia. If we keep him, like not part of society or whatever, he's only gonna go down that rabbit hole even more.
Yeah.
Nobody's there for him. Yeah, sure. If you acknowledge and you accept that whatever you did is wrong, now what? Do we just outcast them for the rest of their lives and then that's a thrown away human being? No, that's whole mental health thing that we're talking about is like people are flawed and maybe like things happen to us, trauma or whatever, and then we do bad things because of that. And I talk about it all the time with like the Marines. I was in the Marines and all we do in boot camp is yell kill to say yes, kill to say no, to confirm. And so if that's all we're being indoctrinated to be, and then we get deployed and we experience like trauma and all that stuff, then when we come back to society, what do they expect? Of course we're going to get in trouble if we don't really fix ourselves or anything like that. Like I know I've gotten in trouble, I've gotten arrested. All right, so my parents are watching this. It's the first time they're gonna hear this, but yeah, but then you seek help though. Then you want to fix yourself. But that's what I say is like that the system created whatever that was, which is like I think like someone that's aggressive, someone that's mentally not stable, because I think you have to be in order to get deployed and do what you got to do to survive out there. You know, so what do they expect when you come back? You're no longer 100%. You're no longer going to be a law-abiding citizen. You're going to be a little bit nuts, a little bit crazy. So you get in trouble. And then what happens when you get in trouble? Then you get a record, and then society drops you off, and then there you go, homelessness. That's what happens with a lot of veterans. They're homeless. There's 50,000 veterans that are homeless right now.
It's very punitive, and it's just the homeless and I think you know I've been thinking about the term, and it's been used a lot. Um, Homeless for me is a defeatist. It's a defeatist type of word, and I think we have to look at unhoused. Look at it in a different way, that they are unhoused, because it's easy just to throw it, yeah, they're homeless and that's it. But, homeless, I think hopeless. You know, when I think of unhoused, I think of, my faith, loving the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and love your neighbor as yourself. And those are God's people. And, they talk about different things happening, but, there's no quick fix to the unhoused problem. However, I think, getting started, moving forward, I'm going to kind of maybe have a jar at my house every time I use the word, homeless, that I have to put money in that jar, and unhoused is just like, there's hope. There's something that we can do. It's just, that's just,
All right, Chris, quit tapping your feet.
I'm tapping my feet.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. So I have to correct it because I'm goddamn, this is gonna come out. But yeah, homeless people, they they they're part of society too. What, we just throw them away and that's it? We just walk by them, fuck them, and then that's it? You can look at it in different perspectives, as in, like, let's just say humanitarian. You care about people, we got to take care of these people. Economically or business wise, you don't want homeless people around and making your business look bad and using your business for free and all that stuff. So I think, as a business perspective too, we want to take care of them. It's like, hey, we want to house them, get them a job so they can buy your shit, so they can be part of society, and we can use those tax dollars for the greater good and whatnot. We there's And then let's say they go to prison, they're not going to pay anything. They're homeless, they're houseless, they don't have money to be paying these fees and fines and all that stuff. So all that money that's being spent on them to put them in jail or whatever, it comes out of our pockets, the
Yeah.
rest of us, society.
It-
So it's only in our own interest to want to take care of the houseless,
yeah.
like, because they're part of society and somebody has to pay for it.
They're unhoused, and then there's crime. They have their own social system down there. There's people who are running. It's not the police. There's like it's like another city.
Yeah, yeah. When I used to be a security guard in downtown, me and Miguel ride bikes, and we talk to the homeless all the time because that's what we interacted with. And yeah, they have their little tribes. They have
Hmm.
their own little groups, social groups, their own habits, their own, like, oh, this is where I go to get this and that kind of stuff. This is how we survive as a community because you have to protect yourself. There's kids out there. There's kids out there that are houseless as well. So don't we care about kids and stuff like that? So that's why I'm really passionate about, like, being anti-war, because we spend so much money in war and weaponry and new planes and gadgets, but then we have no money for the rest of us, for the kids that are homeless, for the 500,000 people that are houseless, and 50,000 that are veterans that are out there. And these are all, not all of them have just, that are druggies that want to be houseless. A lot of them do have jobs. A third of them have jobs, by the way. A third of them. There's teachers that are houseless. So what the fuck? So that's why I'm so passionate about being anti-war, because I'm in the mindset, like, well, we're always having money for war, but we don't have money for this other XYZ that will help out society, that'll help out businesses and us in the community and stuff like that. But maybe that's why I'm so, like, passionate about labor, because I feel that labor, we can funnel this kind of energy of, we want to take care of the houseless, we want everybody to have health care, mental health. I think by being part of the labor movement, we can funnel that energy.
Hmm.
We want to get everybody under a union contract, and with union contracts, you usually make more money. You usually have health care, a pension, annuity, or whatever, more security. So you're better off as a human being with a union contract. It'll take care of a lot of these issues. I mean, there's a reason why during our great era in the 50s and 60s, when we were at 30% density, the middle class ballooned and stuff. And then on its decline, then you see the largest disparity between, like, CEO and freaking and its average worker. And all of a sudden, in late 90s, you started seeing a lot of the houseless population rise. Here in City Heights, where I live, it's getting out of control. It's crazy.
It is getting out of control. I mean, and there are people who want you to continue to use the word homeless instead of unhoused because they want you to forget about the problem. They want you to go to work. The unhoused, the problem is just going to get worse and worse and worse until it gets addressed.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Well, right now, Mr. Biden is all like, oh, economy, whatever, recovery. He can kiss my ass because there's more homeless people, period. Inflation is ridiculous. The same $100 doesn't go as far. Gas is still ridiculous. That's crazy that all these things are getting way more expensive. So, whatever little victories workers had with raises, it didn't go that far. So, everybody's one medical bill away from becoming homeless, houseless.
Hmm.
I'm gonna continue saying
No,
homeless.
hey, I was born and raised in La Jolla, okay? And I think I saw maybe a handful of homeless people. And like I said, see, I get back into but it is something, it's going to take work to say unhoused because we've just been indoctrinated with that word over and over and over again. And, it's a word that doesn't have as much sympathy as saying unhoused. When they're unhoused, is just it's different. It's kind of like hey, this is a problem, but there's a remedy. I mean, we would not have an unhoused problem if everyone woke up in the morning and said, "Hey, we're going to fix this." That it's the will, and the will needs to start first of all with changing the narrative into the unhoused and creating something, an infrastructure.
Chris, your feet.
I'm sorry, got my feet going.
Yeah,
Too
we
much
got that.
green, too much green tea.
Too much green tea. I told you. It's powerful. I got my monster, but it's not as powerful.
Excuse me.
But yeah, that's. I think mental health that last year really became a bigger topic in my head because I realized that, oh shit, I really need to check my mental state at all times. I think it's easy to like drink because I drink. You don't drink, but I do drink, and then go down that rabbit hole to where you don't think the same.
Yeah.
You're not healthy. You're not in your right state of mind. So you make mistakes then. And I think that's the whole point of this podcast is to address mental health. That um, you have to be happy with yourself. You have to be happy with yourself, and then you can be happy by the rest of society and being able to be there for your parents, for your girlfriend. I have to use the bathroom.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's the big thing. And trust me, I feel like this is the year. This is the year where we get our mind checked. That'll help us get our body checked, and then so we can be better members of society.
And yes, and part of that is, I think, I believe in the goodness of people. And n- you know, but we're at the time where social media and everything's going on, and if you got to entertain and you want to do good at the same time. People need, because the attention span's different.
That's what we're fighting for. We fight for a lot of different things. Last year, 2022, we went to Sacramento, to Fresno to walk with the farm workers
Hmm.
because the farm workers are important to us. They feed us. And we fought for a bill. Gavin Newsom signed it because he saw our podcast when we were calling them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Oh, yeah.
scared,
Yeah.
little bitch. And but we fight for all kinds of different things. We fight for healthcare. We fight for Palestinian rights.
Mhm.
We fight to stop all these wars. But we also fight for union contracts. That's our job. But it comes with everything else because we want a better society. We want the government to serve us
Mhm.
and stuff, and to reprioritize all these tax dollars that we pay every year and things that we care about and things that'll help out society.
You use the term "they feed us," and that's a powerful, powerful term. And essential workers, with COVID and everything that was going on, we really realized, how important everyone is, who help. It's a system, the financial system, the distribution of food, and the farm workers, they feed us. Would we have said that 40 years ago, or would it be a different narrative? Now we're kind of looking at you know people as people, and the home. See, I'm saying it again. It's so embedded in the fabric of our society to say that, and it's going to take some time. I'm not coming on the show saying, oh, okay, we're going to say unhoused and that's it. It's not. It's just kind of like, hey, do we really want to remedy the situation. And I think starting with using the term unhoused, it's a way. It's to change way of people thinking.
Yeah, and mental health.
Mental health.
Mental health is what it's all about.
They say, oh, suck it up, suck it in. Actually, I think when you're open about, I'm always open about what my struggles with depression, anxiety, alcoholism. But I think when you're open about things, it actually is a strength because you're kind of opening up, and people will open up back to you. I mean, time, people talk to me at my job, members, or and I tell them what I went through, and they're like, holy cow, and they're more open. It's trust. It's
Yeah,
trust and
telling it's
hope and
trust. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I used to think. Of course, that's what I used to think. Is don't be a bitch.
yeah.
Don't be a bitch. What the fuck? Suck it up, kind of
Hmm.
deal. But then now I'm in my 30s. I had my birthday last week. Ooh, shout out birthday. 37 now, so I think differently now. I don't have to think like a 21-year-old anymore, an 18-year-old, where things are cool to call things a bitch and a pussy. It's like, okay, how's that gonna help me?
Hmm.
How's that gonna help me be a better person for my family, my girlfriend, my friends, by just sucking it up? I think that works. I guess it works until it doesn't.
Hmm.
Until you drink a little bit too much and then you pop and then you get in trouble, you get in a fight, you get arrested. So I think, yeah, I think by admitting kind of deal, like, yeah, you have an issue and I want to seek help, therapy, or whatever, that is a strength. That is a, oh man, you're admitting, like, because you're admitting to yourself that you have an issue. So you want to fix it because you care about people around you.
Hmm.
You want to better it for them too, not just, you know? So yeah, I think that is being a man, is admitting and then just taking a step back and like, yeah, I fucked up. I think that's okay. We're grown ass people. We want to fix ourselves. If you have a broken leg, like you said, you want to fix it so you can be as productive as possible. Same thing with your mind and your health. That's where I'm at. I think this is the year for me to really focus on mental health because I think by being a better person of yourself, then you can help everybody else.
Yeah.
Our whole thing is to help people.
That's it.
Yeah.
And helping people, it's what it's down to. And in my opinion, I think we have to start changing the way we say things. And instead of using defeatist words, we use words that have hope. We're all flawed. I was born and raised in La Jolla, so my parents, like, if I needed money, I just call them up. Hey, mom, I need money. But people don't have that same luxury. People live paycheck to paycheck, like you said.
Most people.
Most people,
Yeah.
most I should say.
70% of Americans, if not 80, live paycheck to paycheck.
And part of the reason is just things are expensive, and that's we're here to raise the standard of living, to create more union density, because at the end of the day, you know even the Pope is talking more about unions.
Yeah, unionize them.
Yeah, talking about the goodness of what we're doing. People are realizing that, hey, have I been brainwashed for the last 20, 30 years? People are like, hey, unions are unions are good. Unions are used
There's a
hard.
reason why they don't teach about the labor movement in school,
Mhm.
K through 12. There's a reason.
Hmm.
That's to indoctrinate the shit out of our kids to think that it's all about meritocracy and blah blah blah. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, Amazon, one of the richest men in the world, contracts with the CIA. I know we're getting like off track here, but what I'm trying to say is that he invests in schools and school boards
Hmm.
so that we don't learn about labor and unions and solidarity, so that we just learn about corporations being good and that's it.
Hmm.
There's a reason for that. And then that's why here now, I didn't learn about the labor movement until college, until SDSU.
Hmm.
That's crazy. But you learn about the fucking presidents and economics and government in high school, but not the labor movement, the thing that helped build America. That's freaking ridiculous. That's a
And
big,
they build America.
yeah.
Building trades. What there's unions are just they also create a standard of living that people need. And If there were more union, I mean, I'm going to go out and say it. If there was more union density, there would be less unhoused people in this country.
Yeah, yeah, plain and simple. That's why, now to wrap it up or to bring it back about mental health and everything that we started talking
Hmm.
about, I think before I started in labor at the Labor Council in 2018, definitely, I think I was a little bit off for sure. Some people watching this might be like a little, but once I found labor, I felt like I was part of a bigger community,
Hmm.
and then I got accepted into labor. We use the term brother and sister and all that good stuff. And then that's when I started really getting a balance for myself as an individual, and I really started becoming confident in being a human being and that kind of stuff. That's what labor has done for me as an individual. I was able to buy a house with it, retire my parents, and then not live paycheck to paycheck. That's because of labor, because of these union jobs that I got. So yeah, I think the more union contracts are out there, the more people that are unionized and having a better standard of living, there would be less hurt, pain, less people with not having health care, and less homeless people. But
Right.
yeah, no, there's so much to it. Like, we're just dudes, two guys. We have our own perspective. We come from labor, and these are our opinions. It's not like we read all about mental health, but these are our opinions and thoughts. And we talk to a lot of people, a lot of fucking workers all the damn
Hmm.
time. So that's why we know what's out there. We drive through these streets and walk these streets, and I really don't think whatever they paint on the media, the economies, blah 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 blah, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. They just can't admit that that we need to change things now. Otherwise, it's gonna hit the fan.
Yeah. Well, what are they talking right now? They're talking about the speaker.
The speaker, who gives a fuck?
What the heck is that? If they spend as much time talking about the unhoused as they talk about the speaker, we'd already make a dent in the problem right now. However, it's distraction.
It's all a
It's a
distraction. The
distraction.
January 6th thing, who gives a fuck? That wasn't a real coup. If they really wanted to coup the fucking Capitol, trust me, they would have done it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. It's like, what? No, no. But they're all distractions. Who gives a shit? Trump is not in office anymore.
Hmm.
That's it. Let's move on. Biden's been in office. They had control of the House, the Senate, the presidency.
Hmm.
Make some shit happen for workers. What the hell? What happened to the PRO Act? And no, there's a bleep. There's nothing about it anymore. All it was just to get support from unions. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, the Republicans are worse. I get it. But the point of the story is that both parties need to be paying more attention to the people and what we need and what society needs as a whole.
Mm, absolutely, and it's something. It's not a cast. We can't just put a cast on the country. It's something that it's a mental health. It's the mentality of how we look at things, and moving forward, I'm gonna use the term unhoused because it's important to me. It's important for people to use terms that create hope and create opportunity for people, uplifting, and that's kind of part of the culture right now. I've noticed like the way people are speaking. It's more uplifting. The it wasn't like that 20, 30 years ago, at least with me.
Yeah. In La Jolla.
In La Jolla, no, it was.
Must be tough. The streets of La Jolla.
But no, even though like my parents when they were together, but still, it's we had problems. Mental health. It doesn't just affect
Yeah,
the
no.
rich. It's and we weren't rich.
It affects everybody.
It affects everyone.
It affects everybody. But that's what we're here for. We're here for each other. We want to help in the fix of society.
Hmm.
We have a lot of problems, and that's our angle is freaking labor, unions,
Hmm.
empowering people
Hmm.
to find their power and their voice.
Hmm.
Because I do believe that's the only thing that's going to save us is workers coming together, accepting each other, trusting each other, build that relationship, that camaraderie to take on the powerful.
Hmm.
Because these politicians, they're not there for us. No matter what, No matter what you see on TV, they're not. They're just not. They're funded by the same people that fund the Republicans, the Democrats, whatever. But that's what we're here for: is to unionize everybody.
Unionize California.
Unionize California. Unionize San Diego. Unionize City Heights.
Union, you know, it's for the mental health, for the unhoused, these problems. Everyone is going to have to speak to people they don't get along with. You know, people from different faiths. It could be people from different stations, or whatever it is. But that is what's going to people coming together as a people, saying, hey, let's do this together. And you might think, oh, that guy did. And that's where we get back to people who make mistakes in life, or maybe you didn't like what they did. And so are we gonna, just because you don't like someone, you're gonna take it out on all the people suffering right now in the streets? No, you just got to say, hey, we agree on this. There's hope in this. We're all flawed, and we believe that right now we have this platform to further the helping and giving hope to society.
Yep, that's what we are, doing God's work.
You're
Yeah.
you are doing God's work, even though you don't believe in God, but which is an irony. We say, but
That's right.
anytime I call you out on something, you're all, "Hey, I'm doing God's work. I'm doing God's work."
Only when it benefits me. Yeah. So that we just really wanted to highlight the issue of mental health, and that we all need. It takes a village. It takes a village for us to be there for each other and make each other better.
Mhm.
We have to be understanding. People mess up, and when you do drugs and alcohol, you mess up a little bit more.
Mhm.
Then you get caught, but doesn't mean you throw the person away.
No, you can't. You cannot. Forgiveness is really important. We're all flawed. We've all done things and we keep things to ourselves because we don't want other people to know.
Yeah.
And when something comes out about someone, oh, and everyone wants to throw stones. Everyone wants to, and for whoever is not sin, cast the first stone. I think pretty much everyone knows who said that. And it's like, we have to start looking at each other as people. We're equal, and when we can do something to better society. I mean, that's when you really live. You step out your comfort zone.
Yeah. When you're the most honest to yourself and to others,
Mhm.
then I think you come to like a Zen kind of
Yeah.
mental, mindset.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, this is who I am. Like, okay, I do need to fix this and that because you're honest. Now people appreciate that more, so they want to help you more instead of always being the egotistical maniac that a lot of us are.
Mhm.
Because we watch it on TV and we listen to it in music and we think that's cool, but I don't think it's cool anymore. Not for me. I think now it's more just be real and be there for each other and enjoy the little things, because it's not gonna last forever.
And
We only have 5 years. That's what we say.
3
We have 5
years we got. Well, you know what? That's what's so great about the labor movement, being the approval of labor unions being so high. It's like we have a platform right now, and we can really help people, and that's what we're doing. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing this podcast. I mean, we're here to. I mean, to be able to lift up people. I mean, what's better than that?
Yeah. What? Any last words, Chris? Any last words? We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, I just want to let you know, if I am Chris Lopez. I'm also your union brother on TikTok, and you can follow me there. And that's your union organizer over there on TikTok with an
And
O. So
with a 0
with a 0? Oh, with
instead
a
of
0.
an O.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And on Twitter and whatnot.
and Twitter.
And
Well, you're
Instagram.
badass on Twitter, so that's cool.
I haven't gotten a hit in a while just because my campaign definitely took a lot of. But we don't have to get into that. We'll have another podcast about that. But definitely, so we're just here, 2 guys,
Yeah.
2 microphones. We're just trying to get the word out.
Yeah.
We want to get the word out. We want to talk to people. We're just here.
Mm.
We're just trying to do God's work.
Yeah, and labor is it escapes my mind, but labor did a lot, created like, better working conditions and all this stuff for, society over the years. Let's tackle the unhoused problem. Let's be a part of that,
That'd be badass.
you know? And
We're
I
gonna
think
do it. We're already doing
you're
it.
already doing
We're
it.
already doing it.
We're
Look,
already doing it.
We're already doing it.
Mhm.
All right. So everybody, this will be up soon. Just catch us on the flip side.